I was born in Yazd and even went to middle school there. And although I don't live there now, in the past year alone, I visited there 3 times. I want to share everything you need to know to make the most of your experience. First up, accommodation. This is a little bit difficult for me to speak to because every time I go to Iran, I'm staying with family. But I do have friends who have visited Yazd and really appreciated the accommodations available there.
Alright, this is the bathroom tour.
What do you mean 1 megapixel?
Let's hear the toilet. Let's
In exploring your options, there are 2 websites I recommend. First is Hostel World, where you're going to see the hostel options. And the second is Snaptrip. This is an Iranian website, but you can translate it into English and see the various options available there. Typically, a private accommodation is going to cost you anywhere from $10 a night to, on the higher end, maybe $30 a night. But I think in the $20 range, you should be able to find something really good. Now, as far as payment goes, Yazd, like everywhere else in Iran, has turned towards cashless payments, mainly with cards. And so if you are a dual national, I highly recommend acquiring a card. I used a website app called Blue Bank and it was extremely convenient. They have an app and they deliver the card to you within a week. Very, very simple, easy to use, secure. I think there are also options for foreigners to get bank cards. Definitely worth exploring because paying with cash around Iran is going to be a headache. They will accept it, especially if you're a tourist, and you know, people will be accommodating to that. People are very, very friendly in Iran and especially in Yazd. But if you can acquire a card, it's going to make life a lot easier, including in transportation. One of the best transportation options around Iran is Snap. It's the equivalent of Grab or Uber. You can order food on it and you can get taxis on it. I believe you can also pay with cash directly to the driver, but if you have a card, then it just makes the whole experience effortless. If you can get a card, highly recommend getting a card. Now, when it comes to food, again, because I'm staying with family, that dictates a lot of where my food is at. But there are so many beautiful traditional restaurants, cafes in Yazd that are worth exploring. Now, if you are vegan or vegetarian, it's a little more challenging, but because there are so many tourists visiting Yazd, a lot of restaurants will be accommodating. A lot of the traditional Persian stews can be made without meat. Beyond that, I also found a health food store that was really convenient. They have all kinds of vegan meats and soy products. They have vegan dur, which is the traditional yogurt drink. So highly recommend checking out Kolbe Salameti if you're in Yazd. Not sponsored, they're like the best option for health foods if you're in Yazd. When it comes to activities and attractions, there are a lot of beautiful historical sites to visit in Yazd.
What is this?
Markar Square, and it's the center point of Iran.
There are historic gardens like Bagh Dolatabad, where you'll see large budgirs or wind catchers, and you'll see these around Yazd. And these were a system for catching the cool air and bringing it into the homes, like a old form of AC. And you should definitely visit the water museum to learn about the Qanat system in Yazd, which is estimated to be about 3,000 years old. It's a water transportation system that would take the water from the mountains through underground tunnels into the city. Also, Yazd is the epicenter of the Zoroastrian faith that predates Islam in Iran. We have the Yazd Atashkada, which houses a fire that has been burning continuously for 1,500 years. For Zoroastrians, the fire is a symbol of light and wisdom. Iran may be a predominantly Muslim country now, but long before that, Zoroastrianism was the dominant faith across the Persian Empire, the world's oldest monotheistic religion. And there's also the Towers of Silence, how Zoroastrians used to dispose of dead bodies. They would take them to the top of these towers and the remains were laid on top of this tower for vultures to feed upon them. It was an expression of the Zoroastrians' respect for nature and the sanctity of earth, fire, and water, that the elements remain unpolluted as the soul embarked on its journey to the afterlife. Although this practice continues in India, it's been banned since the 70s in Iran for sanitary reasons. If you get the chance to speak to local Zoroastrians, I highly recommend it as well. They're better able to describe the traditions and the history of the people there. Beyond that, you have the Old Town in general, which is a series of alleys and structures that range 500 to 1,500 years old. It's really beautiful to walk around and experience. The afternoons get a little quieter since Yazd is a hot city, but the mornings and especially the evenings are very lively and definitely worth checking out.
Why is it so empty right now?
Well, now it's afternoon.
And people don't want to be outside in the afternoon?
It's hot.
It's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 40 degrees Celsius. It's deadly. It's hot and it's dry.
I think a lot of people would be surprised at how lively the evenings can get. The Old Town has gone even more lively and the young people are taking even more care of it. It feels actually quite a liberal space within Yazd. Old Town is definitely my favorite place to just walk around. There's so many little hotels and shops and cafes and old homes that you can just walk through. This school is 1,000 400 years old, and it's the first time I'm seeing it, and I'm only seeing it because a friend of mine who was visiting said, oh, that sounds interesting. And I bet you most of the locals have never been here. There's so much restoration happening. It's endless exploration available there, and I recommend going there during the morning and going there during the evening and going again there. One morning we actually went to Yazd Old Town very early, and we had the experience of running through it.
The other guys go way ahead of us.
Our friend Saeed organized the run, who is a local coach, and he even has a gym that I often worked out at while I was there. So if you need a good workout in, definitely hit up Saeed on Instagram. Now, if you do get a chance, there's also really beautiful gardens on the outskirts of Yazd. This is traditionally where people go to spend their weekends. It's a really beautiful side of Iran to experience these kind of outer villages. It's really just got its own magical energy to it. Now, I am actually a digital nomad.
As soon as we got to Yazd, I got to reconnect with my editor Nasser, and he showed us around because he had been staying there. He works at a coffee shop. He travels the world. He's a digital nomad.
So it was also cool to see that there are co-works in Yazd, and I got to experience one of the co-works. It was very affordable and super fast, unlimited Wi-Fi. So that was a really cool experience to work from there and meet other local innovators and freelancers who were working from there. But in my last trips, I've also just been working from Old Town a lot because I love the atmosphere there. And with Hotspot, you can actually get a pretty good connection there. Two of my favorite places to work from were Papasi and Our House Cafe. Occasionally, I come across a gem like this place. I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. It's pretty empty. It's in the historic center of Yazd, and it has one of the best views in Yazd or like the world. It's just like gorgeous view.
That's the best view in Yazd, supposedly. Do not stand on the domes. Oh, Ali, Ali. Oh.
No, I'm obviously biased because of my history and family in Yazd, but I really find it to be an underrated, beautiful, magical, historical place, and it has such an energy to it. And it's a cliche thing to say, but the people there are incredibly hospitable. In my opinion, some of the most hospitable people in the entire world. They don't care where you're from. You can be from the US or wherever else. Politics aside, they're gonna take care of you. They're gonna make sure you have a good time. I highly recommend checking out Yazd if you get the opportunity to. Like and subscribe to support what I do, and I'll catch you in the next video.